Hello and welcome. I am Stacey Thomas, author, ALS advocate, film producer, and talk show host. I'm here to motivate, educate, and entertain. Join me on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Stacey Thomas Talk Show, where we have powerful discussions centered around health, relationship, careers, and everyday conversation. Follow me on Facebook, I am Stacey Thomas. On Instagram, Stacey Thomas Talk Show. And don't forget, I can promote you too. Email me at iamstacythomas@gmail.com. Now, it's time for the show. Hey, everybody. It's me again. I am Stacey Thomas. We're on IG, Facebook, YouTube, and another great platform, Swag Her. Thank you all for joining us. Tonight, let me tell you, I just got to say it. I know she's right here. This guest caught my attention because she's passionate about something and she's sharing her story. So let's welcome, I'm going to say Danny. You tell us your name.
Daneshia Drakeford, but my nickname is Danny. So either way. Yeah, either way. We can rock with either name.
Either name. Beautiful. Thank you for blessing my platform. Thank you. You are an actress and a writer. You just published your first book, right? Congratulations. And we'll put that up just for a quick moment. That type, Stacey, why did you do that covering the screen? Let's see. Let's see. Let's do it like that. Silent battles. That's deep. Can you please tell me, Danny, first of all, why is this book called Silent Battles?
Because we all have them. Okay. And I wanted a title that could be relatable. Something catchy. And I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, I have had several silent battles. I'm on this platform tonight to talk about one or two, perhaps. But we all have silent battles. Some of us have more than others. So I tell everybody it's something to inform, educate, and just bring awareness, and just let everyone know that you're not alone. Even when you feel like you're alone, you're never alone. And, as I start writing and, several people done read my book, they even said, it's like, wow, I thought I was alone. And, there's like, now I know, you're never alone. And, it's just something everybody that done read it, all my family and friends was like, wow, Daneisha, I love the title. You're right. We all do suffer silent battles. Some of us suffer in silence, like I did. But we, at the end of the day, my son, 7 years old, he probably have a silent battle. Is rated E for everyone. We all, at the end of the day, have some type of silent battle.
Yeah, and a lot of times people aren't bold enough to talk about what bothers them. And I have to ask, you may not want to disclose it because you're an actress, on your way to the top. But how old are you? Or would you rather not say?
I'll give you an age range.
Okay.
You know what? Screw it. I actually tell you my age. I was told not to always tell my age.
No, then don't tell your age. Don't tell it. You're under 30. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. There's heartbreak.
Yes.
There's MS. There's divorce. Which one came first?
MS.
MS came first. Mm-hmm. And when MS is something that people hear about, but a lot of times we hear about things and we don't bother to find out what it is. We just assume someone's sick, right? And right. If they say disease behind the word, they say, you don't look like you have a disease. What is MS?
MS, that's the abbreviated form. MS is, the real term is multiple sclerosis.
At 24 years old, and what can you tell us about MS? Is it something, I know it's in the family of what I advocate for, but can you tell us, are there certain characteristics, or is it like ALS, no one may be the same, show the same characteristics?
Spot on. You hit it bullseye. Yes. So it's not one person in America, in the world, that lives the same with MS. I will share that, I have been living with it a couple of decades. And my symptoms, but that's why they call it multiple sclerosis, because multiple things can happen, and it's million and one symptoms. But the ones I suffer from the most, because I have a lot, but I'll tell you the ones I suffer from the most is chronic fatigue, chronic insomnia, slurred speech at times, brain fog, tingling, numbness, and sometimes just anxiety.
Just anxiety. That's a lot. And you said there's more?
Yes. But those are the ones I suffer from, I would say, the most. Yes.
The most. And I guess by now, when you said the thing about slurring, and I'm not trying to make this about me, but slurring was one of the symptoms that my mother started off with. And it sounded as if you didn't know her, you would have thought that she had been drinking. When you slur, is there something that people assume before realizing what's wrong?
No. So thank God that's not one of the top symptoms. That only happens when I'm extreme fatigue, because I'm tend to known to overdo it.
Okay.
And that's just because, my daily life, I have to sometimes overdo it. I have to sometimes steal from Peter to Paul, to give to Paul. Sometimes, with MS, you just got to keep pushing. And by me being a mother and, doing some other, I work, I wear a lot of different hats. So sometimes I can't, relax, or sometimes I can't, I just got to keep pushing. So with that being said, sometimes I overexert myself. And when I tend to overexert myself, I'm talking about like just working and just pushing through the day off for three hours, because the most I get every night is 4 or 5. And that's uninterrupted. That's not even just straight sleep. So sometimes if I do that, and then, if I do an event, like it's just, life be lifing, adulting be adulting. And it's always just something for me to do. And sometimes I plan myself. I'm like, you know what, Daneisha, this week is going to be a long week. Try to conserve some of the energy when you can, but it's easier said than done. So sometimes I just overexert myself so much that I don't even know if I'm coming or going. And if I try to have a conversation with someone, it don't come off like I've been drinking, but it come off me potentially overlapping on one of my words, or it just coming out, a little funky. But, it don't be throughout the whole, like I catch myself. And so, it's not at the point where somebody be like, oh my goodness, did she slur? I'm a very anal and I'm a perfectionist. So I notice what they do. And then, I'll try to quickly, correct myself, or I'll play it off and be like, oh man, Danny, or, I just, we fake it.
Right.
Yeah, but the slur speech, I noticed that normally before the other person, but I have had friends that tell me they caught it, but it's not something frequently, I would say those just the ones I suffer from the most. But that might happen maybe once a month, not even, depending on, like I said, if I'm overexerting myself. The brain fog and the slurred speech, that's when I'm just I'm running off with zero fumes.
Okay. So you know when to stop, maybe when to take a break, Danny. When it's time to take a break.
Yeah. Yes. And sometimes I overdo it, and I'm like, darn it. And and that happens, and God give me grace, and I'm like, okay, I know. And then the next day or the following week, I'm like, okay, well, I did this, so I'm gonna have to steal from Peter to give to Paul, and I delegate. I delegate from most important to the least important.
Right. I know I dated someone once who had a sister. So when I think about how you said there's a miracle story about your baby, excuse me, she was told that she would never drive, she would never have a baby. And as she got older, she started driving and she had a baby with MS. Tell me, is that your miracle? Is it because of the MS, or is it something else?
It's because of the baby, and it's because the doctors told me because I was 38. I was 37, but I was 3 weeks shy of being 38 before I had my son. And so I was already at risk. They just like, Daneisha, first of all, age is not on your side. Then the amount of years you've been living with MS, you've been living so well, but that doesn't mean that you're going to continue living well if you have your child. One, because of your age. Two, because, you've been living with MS so long. And then three, sometimes, MS patients have the most beautiful pregnancies, but after that is goodnight, Irene. So, and then my husband at the time, he was dealing with an element as well. And he wasn't a spruce chicken either. So they just is like, okay, not only yourself, but your husband, he's not the healthiest and he's not the youngest. So both of you guys are battling something, two elements, and age is not on either one of you guys' side. So do you guys want to potentially consider adoption, or maybe a surrogate, or, just something, something else down the line, a puppy, something. And I tell everybody, the grace of God, I'm a strong believer. I guess the little stubborn side of me was like, you know what? If God put you to it, he put you through it. And I know I got this. And, in MS, I have MS. MS don't have me. And they told me I had to come off my medication, which was the scariest thing I ever had to do. Come off my medication since I was living so well.
What?
And yeah, I had to come off my medication. They had even told me this, like, Daneisha, I just want you to know, yes, we give you an A for effort. We love your willpower and we love the positivity. But if something happens to you throughout this pregnancy, there's nothing we can do to pretty much help you, because we're not going to be able to give you no medication because you might harm the fetus. It's like, so I'm not going to say they just left me to the wolves, but they just like, Daneisha, we just want you to know how serious this is. Like, you're coming off your medication. So you don't have no type of cushion, age wise, it's like pretty much all the odds are against you. We're for you, we've been, you one of our best patients, you living so well, but just know that even if you do have a beautiful pregnancy, because the neurologist told me some of the most of the most beautiful pregnancies is women that living with MS. He's like, he's seen it. He's like, but he have seen that it takes everything out of them afterwards, or everything just start declining. See, so he was like, even if you do have a good pregnancy, he was like, whatever happens after that, we still can't promise that either. So when I tell you, I went into the lab with my little invisible lab, prayed, thought about it. I know my husband at the time, that was his dream. So, I'm just like, since he was helping me pursuing my dream, modeling and acting, I was like, okay, well, let me, help him with his dream. Right. So when I tell you, it was one of the scariest things that I ever did. But I knew that God was going to, literally take the wheel, and he was going to help me with this one. And he absolutely did.
I saw the picture on Instagram.
Yeah. So
I saved it. I wanted to show it on the show.
Please do.
No, I have it on my phone when I saved it. And I said, no, Stacey, give me 1 minute, please. 1 minute.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I only sneeze when I come online.
It's okay. You're human. You're human. We sneeze, we cough. It's okay.
I said, Stacey, you didn't ask her, don't do it. He's a cutie.
Thank you.
You're a miracle. How old is he now?
7.
He's 7.
7 going on 77. Oh my goodness. No filters. So rude. So smart. And he knows it. You'll tell him he's smart. He's like, I know. And I tell everybody the best thing I ever did is, I'm like, the motherhood, which I didn't even know I was going to even be capable of even having a child. But I tell everybody, motherhood is the #hardest hood and #no snooze buttons. Right. But it's the most beautiful, tiring experience ever. And I'm like, I'm happy and grateful that God trusted me with this. And when I tell you, from start to finish, he have not left me. Wow. And I was like, and that's why I call him my miracle baby, because I'm not going to say the doctors was against it, but it wasn't 100% for it. And they reminded me constantly how my pregnancy can be, or the aftermath of having my child. And I would say the grace of God, knock on wood, no flare-ups, nothing. Beautiful pregnancy, no morning sickness, no swelling, no
Look at
nothing.
God.
Still, yes.
Look at God. And I have to say this. Well, congratulations on the book again. And we're going to get to that. But, you're interested in it. And I guess you're someone that I like. I want to ask you this because I feel like I can ask you this. You can't ask everybody this. So, with you having MS, and with my mother having ALS disease, which is something that I pray against and I trust God, obviously you really trusted God and you had your baby. Me personally, or for you too, for me, I worry about if it happens to me, what will happen to my kids, my grown kids? Do I want to stay with my man and take the chance of him having to take care of me and missing life? Things like that run through my head. And it's hard to make very serious decisions because I don't want to put that on anyone. How do you go when you made the decision to have your son? Your faith is just strong, huh?
Absolutely. I'm like, I mean, yes. I'm like, because that's not my only miracle. So I knew, even well, I tell you my age, look, off screen. But he have always, just blessed me, and let's always show up and show out. And I tell everybody, like, sometimes it's like, Daneisha, you got to give yourself some credit. And I don't. I was like, I can't. I was like, I mean, yes, of course, I'm human, and I know, he's not here holding my hand literally. But when I tell you, I give him all the credit, because just my life in general, I can't take the credit. I can't. I mean, he have showed me things that I'm like, it's just the grace of God, like just certain things, just from car accidents I done been in, banged up, so many accidents, even a pedestrian. He has showed me so many different times, like, daughter, I got you, just have faith, even when you don't see, even if you don't see the rainbow, or, the detour, at the end of the road, I got you. And I'm not going to always say my faith been this strong, because I'm human. We all human. So sometimes, even when I was diagnosed with MS, it was times I'm like, Jesus, why me? I have a good heart. I give to people, like my door is never closed. Like, why me? I try to be a good person, never been sick, barely. I can count on two hands how many times I ever threw up. I've been very healthy, and I'm like, why me? Why so young? Like, why me? But as I would say 4 or 5 years into me, living with MS, I was very active. Well, I'm still active. Seminars, MS walk, everything you could think of. And I've seen so many people that's not living as well as me. One, they done changed their medication probably a good 10, 15 times. They went from walking to not walking. Just so many things, like a person having a bag, outside their body, and I done seen it all. And I just was like, who am I, not to give him all the glory, not to give him all the praise and the respect, because this could be me. I've been living with MS, like I said, several decades, and been on the same medication, which is very odd and strange. Even my doctors is like, there's like, I want to push you, but I can't. There's like, it's so many other different medications, but if it's working for you, I'm not going to mess with you. Same medication, never been hospitalized yet for my MS. No steroids. I had my scares. I've been on disability 3 different times due to my MS, but I would say the grace of God, I'm still, living so well to the point that no one knows. Like, that was my way of coming out. My book signing, which was, I would say a week away from being a month. And that was my way of, I would say I had 90 something guests there, and probably only 60 of them knew. So that was my way of coming out, and it's like, wow, this is me. Take it or leave it, you know. And I just get so excited. I could talk about Jesus all day, but the grace of God, He have all, even before my MS, showed me so many other miracles and just things. Like, I'm like, I don't look down on someone that don't, you know, but I'm like, oh my goodness, like, how can you not believe or just believe in just a higher being than yourself?
Right. Right.
You know, it's like, how can you, it's, I just get so excited. I'm like, just the stuff He had put me to and through. It's like, it's just amazing. So it's hard, or even sometimes when I try to take the credit, I feel guilty. I'm like, He definitely looks high, you know, sits high and look low. And I didn't want to share my story. I'm a very private person, but He told me one day in one of my dreams I had to. And I just felt like if I didn't, I would be disobedient. And I'm like, He just blessed me so much that I had to. And I knew I had this feeling. I'm like, Daneisha, you're going to, even if you save one soul, your job is done. And
right there.
It's deeper than me now. I put it out in the universe. So many people, like, it's 10 chapters. And I didn't, MS, like I said, is not my only silent battle. But I guarantee you, if you get my book, you're going to be like, Danny, I couldn't relate to you in chapter 1, 2, and 3, but I can definitely relate to you in chapter 4, 5, and 6. It's something where one of the chapters you're going to be able to relate to me. And I just feel as I'm going to save a soul or 2 or 3. And once I do, my job is done.
And you're doing your job, right? You're doing it. You went through it, your testimony, but you will be blessing others. People see my strength, but they don't always see the pain behind it. People see my strength, but they don't always see the pain behind it. Are people expecting you to be stronger or something? What?
No. So what I mean by that is I'm a happy-go-lucky person, always smile. Like, even at my boss at my job, he was like, oh my goodness, you should always smile. And I love it. Like, I've been working customer service a very long time, couple of decades. And, you know, he's like, Daneisha, you always have a smile on your face. So I want to say that everybody just so used to me being happy-go-lucky. So the times, and I'm not a crier, like I cry inside. So when people, like one of my friends the other day just says like, she's like, wow. She's like, I actually know my friend could cry. She actually had feelings, you know? So it's just like everybody don't see the struggle or the battle behind the smile. Wow. So this was my way of, you know, even like some of my friends have told me, you know, like they're confining me, even my siblings, you know, they'd come to me and talk to me and they'd be like, wait a second, Daneisha, I'm sorry. I forgot you had MS. I'm sorry you're dealing with your own thing. How are you doing? So then they reintroduce themselves. They're like, wait a second, I'm sorry. How are you doing? It's like, because you never complain. How are you doing, Daneisha? Right. So it was always just, you know, me always helping others, and, you know, it's been a situation where I can. And, you know, a lot of times I have put myself on a back burner. You know, I have been that people pleaser. And, you know, it's at the point now where it's like, I'm going to still be able to help. But sometimes being selfish is necessary. Right. And it took me years because I was like, at the end of the day, I'm a caregiver. You know, I wear a lot of different hats. But I'm like, Daneisha, yes, you can continue to still be good to others. But if you're not good, you're not going to be, you know, you're not going to be able to be good, you know. So pretty much take care of yourself, self-love, self-care. Otherwise, you know, it's just going to be a domino effect. So, you know, at the end of the day, learn how to occasionally be selfish, and being selfish is not a bad thing. It might sound like a bad thing, but sometimes it's survival of the fittest. And exactly. I was in survival mode for a lot of years, and most people didn't even know. Like I said, the MS coworkers came up to me crying. Even some family members didn't even know. And the other silent battles that I had, they was like, holy smokes, like, Daneisha, if I need someone to hide a secret, it's going to be you, because I don't know how you kept all of that in behind the smile and still was positive, still been able to show up for everyone else when you was going through all of that. And, you know, or times they was pushing me. Oh, Daneisha, you're tired. I'm tired too. And I kind of try to remind them that, well, your tired is not my tired. It's two different. It's like night and day. My tired ain't going to ever go away. Yours might go away with some sleep, but I can't even sleep. So this was just me saying, hey, I'm unmasking myself, and this is me, take it or leave it. And you just never know. So be kind to everyone, because you never knew I was going through all those violent battles, because I still was showing up for you. So when I tell you I'm tired, or I tell you this, please don't take it with a grain of salt. I have proved to you that, I'm worthy. So, have some grace, if I need you to.
So for those that, first of all, that's powerful what you're saying. I'm thankful that you're being so transparent. For those who have family members dealing with MS, people have a tendency to say, I understand. No, you don't understand, because you're not going through what I'm going through. But what would you say to the families that have someone in their family with MS? Like, as an advocate yourself, what should they know, or is there help out there?
Okay, it's definitely help. It's so many resources. I didn't even know. I'm still learning all the different resources myself, to be honest. You would think I would know everything as long as I've been living well with MS and having MS, but I haven't. It's so many different MS groups. It's so many different discounts that we can get just with living with MS. Like my job, a lady came in and is like, I have MS, and she got some type of discount. And I'm looking, I'm behind my desk, and I'm like, holy smokes. I'm not about to tell her I have MS, but I'm like, holy smokes, you get discounts for something? And I was like, do tell, let me do some more research, just like remodeling like a bathroom, getting like a sit down shower, clothes, still so many different things, pools, like definitely try to tap into all the different resources that's out there. It's so many different what I'm trying to say, so many different type of foundations, and just it's a lot of help out there that I wasn't aware of at first. So tap in and look into all that stuff. Swallow your pride, which it took me a long time to do, but it's so many different things out there. And just know that MS, we have MS don't have us. But just because we might look good, don't try to challenge us, because I had to go through that as I was younger. People challenging me, oh well, you don't look sick, and I got that all the time. And like, if a person tell you, I'm not going to say sometimes it might not be laziness, but I'm far from being lazy. I was like, I've been working very long time. I'm far from being lazy. If we tell you we sick, or if we tell you we don't feel good, just because we don't show it or we're smiling, don't take that with a grain of salt, because a lot of MS patients, we scared to even tell people that we have MS, because we don't want to be looked at as a handicap or labeled. And I think a lot of that, like I said, was pride. I was, it was my pride. I didn't want people to look at me no other type of way. I wanted everybody to look at me like daddy, S on my chest or a D on my chest and my cape. And it was times I had to, put my cape in the cleaners and, just tell people, hey, I can't. And, and be okay with that. Because then I used to feel bad. I'm like, why am I moping around? Like, I didn't ask for this. I'm like, I would love to be able to party as much as you or vacation, but I can't. And at the end of the day, I tell everybody, we might not be able to accomplish something at that present time that we wanted to, like we always set goals. And I tell everybody, I was able to do everything, college, everything, graduate, work, pursue my dreams, have a child, marriage, but everything, I went from doing everything full time to doing everything part time. But at the end of the day, I tell everybody, it still gets done. It might take you 5 years to get that degree or relocate or what have you, and it might take me 10. But at the end of the day, I still finished the finish line. So, everything, full time, everything. And I was like, now the only thing I'm full time at is, mothering, and being a caregiver to my mother. But besides that, everything part-time, 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 part-time. And I just had to get used to my new reality and accept it. I tell everybody it's not a death sentence, it's a life sentence. And it might take me longer, but you best believe every finish line I have finished and I have went out with a bang. So never give up on yourself, and just know that you're never alone, and it can always be worse. The grass always look green on the other side, even if you're not living with MS or an element like yourself or me or anything. We all have silent battles. So just be kind and show some grace, because you never know what anyone is going through. And when I tell you, I literally flipped some wigs, literally, when I had a standing ovation at my book signing, just people coming up to me. It's like, Daneisha, let me know how I could be a better friend or a better co-worker, or just, like, Daneisha, I didn't know. And, they even told me, there's like, Daneisha, a person would be lying if they tell you that they didn't leave your book signing without something. There's like, they all left with something, hope, motivation, or they just everyone left with something.
What's the biggest, I'm going to show the book again. What's the biggest takeaway you want people to get from reading your book?
I want them to get that it took me a long time to share my story. Very private person. And the crazy thing is, I'm a social butterfly. I love to talk. So it's weird that so many people probably like, oh yeah, I know Daneisha, like, I know her like a book. But they didn't. I was like, so I just want them, just like I had, piggybacking off of what I just said to you, I just want them to know that you're never alone. If God put you to it, he's going to put you through it. I'm a living witness. And just, even if you want to go back to school to get that bachelor's, master's, PhD, it's never too late. You might have to do it at a part-time status like myself, but never give up on yourself. And, because at the end of the day, who's going to be your biggest cheerleader but yourself? So, just even if you don't believe in God per se, just try to believe in a higher being than yourself. Right. And, just meditate, pray. And, it can always be worse. So I tell everybody, one of my coping mechanisms is music. I'm like, I am hip hop. I am gospel. I am, I want everybody's like, Daneisha, how are you an actress and never watch TV? And, I was like, okay, I'm like, well, there's how you don't even know your competition. And I was like, well, I don't need to know my competition.
Just
I'm like,
you.
Yeah. But yeah, just find a coping mechanism, whatever that might be, but hopefully it's something productive.
Right.
But yeah, music. I tell everybody, music, meditation, and just surrounding yourself around positive people. Not saying you can't entertain or be around negative Nancy here and there, because we all have our shit. But try to surround yourself around positive people, because that definitely helps. It's because they always say we crabs in a barrel anyway. So just try to surround yourself around positive people, and just know that you're human, and life is going to always continue lifing, and you just got to take it in strides. That's the only advice I can give, because it worked for me. It definitely worked for me.
It's great advice. Before we go, what's next, Superwoman?
What's next? I do have a documentary film that I gotta tighten, tweak a little, but hopefully I'll be able to try to shop that around next year.
Okay.
It's pretty much pairing with the book.
Okay.
But I just was like, Daneisha, instead of always acting out, someone else's story, now it's time to, act out your story.
Well, let me say this. Listen, not that you asked, and I know you have to go. The things that you've gone through, including the things that you've done, the acting, and everything else that you've gone through, God has merely prepared you to do more. Your documentary is going to be great, not only because of your testimony and your story. You don't need 50 people to do everything, because you've already acted on shows or films. You already know what needs to be done. You've connected with people that can help you. God then set you up for what you need to do.
Amen. He did.
He done set you up.
Yes.
And then
that's my boy.
And then he done gave you Stacey Thomas, who gonna have you back on when the documentary come out.
that part, and I would love to, sis. That part right there.
I have up here to follow you. Ernest gave me, let's see, shout out to you, Ernest, for blessing Stacey's platform. You really did it this time, man. Author Daneshia Drakeford on Instagram.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if anyone's looking to book you to speak, do they just DM you on that?
Yes. They can follow me at Daneshia Drakeford _Hatwood. I'm on Facebook as well.
Okay. Sweetheart, thank you.
No, thank you. The pleasure is all mine. I would love to hear more about your story and everything the next time around too.
Well, we probably should get together when you're not busy, and we'll come on and we'll talk about that family that both of the diseases that we know about are in, so that we can educate. I always say educate everybody, but I guess my main thing is to educate minorities and African Americans, because it's something that Black people think don't happen to us.
Yes. Sadly to say, but you're right. Absolutely right. Yeah.
So you take care of yourself.
Thank
you. I'm rooting for you. I can't wait to see that you're coming out with a documentary. Okay, beautiful.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
I'm blessing people. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Tell me God didn't bless the platform tonight. Well, he always blesses the platform, but let's see her book again for those of you who came in late. Right? Let me take the banner down. So it's Silent Battles. If you look in the comments, I did put the link in the comments for those of you that came on late, and you can follow her on Instagram and Facebook. If you have any questions or you want to see what you can do to support her upcoming documentary, hit her up. Okay. And let's see. As always, everybody, don't stress too much about yesterday. Don't worry too much about tomorrow. Well, you just might miss living today. Okay. We're going to see one more thing. It's the Stacey Thomas advertisement for local people. Let's see. For the local business people. That's coming up. This Sunday. So if you're in the area, please feel free to stop by.
Richmond, Petersburg, and surrounding area. Stacey Thomas, celebrity host, author, and filmmaker, is hosting the Business Block Networking Mixer on November the 2nd, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Guest speakers Sharon Oliver, Charles Lambert, Barry Farmer, and Tracy Harvey. And special guest giveaway sponsor Sharice Jefferson of Financial Fancy. So don't delay. Get your tickets today. It's happening now. So go to eventbrite.com and meet us in the place.
Attention business owners, are you ready to turn your purpose into powerful publicity? Tune into the Business Block, Purpose to Business with Stacey Thomas every Monday at 6:30 a.m. on Cool 101.2 Pop. We spotlight entrepreneurs, change makers, and passionate business owners just like you. When you advertise, you're not just on the radio. You're featured across social media too, amplifying your brand far beyond the airwaves. Call 804-214-6241 or visit IamStaceyThomas.com to book your spot. Cool 101.2, where your passion becomes your platform.